Et cet après-midi, il est entendu par le Sénat où il doit faire en effet un certain nombre de déclarations. Alors voilà la sienne en tout cas qui vous est adressée. En tant que ministre de l'Industrie, je veux vous manifester ma détermination, ainsi que celle du gouvernement français, à protéger l'innovation et la créativité des entreprises, qui peuvent être considérées et considérablement affectées par la contrefaçon. Ce soutien à une politique d'innovation industrielle doit être particulièrement accru avec la mondialisation de l'économie et la crise actuelle qui fragilise nos entreprises. Dans ce contexte, la lutte contre la contrefaçon est un enjeu économique majeur pour protéger la compétitivité de nos entreprises et donc de nos emplois. Je me félicite de la tenue à Paris de ce 6e Congrès mondial sur le thème de la contrefaçon et du piratage. Ce congrès montre la nécessité pour les États d'agir de manière concertée en examinant toutes les pistes qui peuvent être explorées pour lutter contre ce phénomène. Je suis certain que ce congrès contribuera à mieux faire ressortir ces nouvelles stratégies qui pourraient être déployées suite aux échanges constructifs de ces 2 journées. Je profite de cette occasion pour vous annoncer que j'ai décidé de lancer en France, dans les prochaines semaines, une campagne de communication sur Internet afin de sensibiliser le grand public à la lutte contre la contrefaçon. En effet, si la contrefaçon pénalise les entreprises et constitue un réel enjeu économique, elle peut également mettre en danger les consommateurs par la diffusion de produits et de médicaments dangereux. C'est vers ce public que je souhaite également diriger nos efforts. Je vous remercie de votre attention et vous souhaite une excellente après-midi. Merci.
Merci beaucoup Bernard Brochant pour la lecture de ce message d'Éric Besson. Nous allons entamer cet après-midi donc la seconde séance plénière. Nous allons notamment évoquer la protection des consommateurs. La protection des consommateurs qui est plus que jamais une nécessité, c'est un impératif, c'est un devoir, car si c'est des médicaments dont on parle le plus, il y a beaucoup à dire aussi des dangers des cosmétiques, des produits agrochimiques ou des jouets contrefaits. Alors comment mettre en place des stratégies d'intervention efficaces? Pour en débattre, plusieurs éminents orateurs sont rassemblés. Among them, Mr. Ronald K. Noble, Secretary General of Interpol.
Have you forgotten what happened this morning? The clapping is supposed to start after I'm introduced. Could we please have the official clapper? We all know how difficult it is to come back to a conference after lunch. It's also difficult to be asked to speak and entertain you after lunch. So we're really going to need your cooperation. First of all, Bernard Brochant, thank you very much for those remarks and for advising us of the desire by Minister Besson to launch this communication initiative here in France. He couldn't have picked a more eloquent orator than yourself. Most of you might not know this, but in addition to being famous for wearing a red scarf, he's the mayor of Cannes for the Cannes Film Festival. So, also l'ancien président du PSG. Paris, no? No? Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the first speaker, John Morton, the Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who's going to give us an overview of the topic that Ariane just described. He'll do it standing from the lectern, and afterwards each of the other interveners will speak seated. Now, perhaps you've never attended a conference or an event in which Interpol participates, but we keep on schedule. Okay, no matter what happens, when it's 3:15, this panel's time ends. So we just need your attention from now until 3:15. How do we know when a speaker has no more time? Our Interpol officer here, Bernd Rosbach, will stand when there's 2 minutes left. When there's 1 minute left, he walks in front of the speaker, still below the stage. When time is up, he walks up on the stage and hands the speaker a note. I've never seen what happens after the speaker's handed a note, because generally the speaker respects those remarks. John Morton's a great defender of intellectual property rights, a protector of IPR nationally and internationally. He believes that the best way to keep a country safe and to keep a country vibrant is to make sure that the products produced by the citizens in the country or consumed by the citizens in the country are legal. John Morton, with that introduction, please let us hear from you. Round of applause. Thank you.
All right, well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I am indeed John Morton. I am the Director of the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We are a very large agency. We have offices throughout the United States and in 69 offices overseas in almost every region and major country in the world. I got to say, you know, this is a challenging topic. I know at times it is frustrating for many, but I hope that everybody doesn't forget that reason and principle is on your side in this fight. And I think at the end of the day, that is why you have and you will ultimately demonstrate the winning hand. This is an incredibly exciting time in intellectual property enforcement in the United States. It's become a very high priority for this particular government. The Vice President personally is leading the charge, and you have a number of senior government officials, including myself, the Attorney General of the United States, the Secretary of Homeland Security, personally invested in this particular fight. A real focus on the danger of intellectual property violations, its effect on our economy, our jobs, health and safety, and the fight against organized crime. And we can't lose sight that much of what is going on is very much part of the fight on organized crime, and we need strong enforcement. I am a huge believer in aggressive intellectual property enforcement. I don't think we should be unapologetic about it. We should be aggressive about it, and that is what we are doing in the United States. Our enforcement is at record levels. We've had record seizures, record investigations and arrests. Just to give you some perspective, this last fiscal year we opened over 1,000 criminal investigations into intellectual property and violations. That was the largest in the history of the nation. This year we will top 1,500. There's never been more aggressive enforcement in the United States. And thanks to our partners at the Department of Justice, there have been record criminal prosecutions. People are going to jail on a regular basis in the United States for intellectual property violations. We brought a real focus on the internet. We launched Operation In Our Sights, as many of you know, a year ago, and we've been going after intellectual property violations that occur particularly in websites that are offering counterfeit or infringing goods. We've had 2 rounds already, and I'm happy to say that we just completed a 3rd. You'll probably be reading about it in the next couple of days. We seized 10 more domain names just yesterday, and the government's seizure banners will start to go up on the internet today and in the coming days. And these sites involved the unauthorized streaming of sports content. And that adds to the pharmaceutical cases, the software cases that we have done before. We've got a very talented and thoughtful panel here today, so I am going to keep my remarks very limited, but my sense on the keys going forward, that this has to be a very strong partnership between private industry and government. I don't think there is any way we can make a sustained change in intellectual property enforcement unless government and industry are working hand in hand. My own view is when an industry is victimized by a violation of law, they should be treated no differently than any other victim of a violation of law. And so we openly encourage partnership. We openly encourage referrals from industry. We're not going to make a difference without your help. You need to help us. I think it's important that we have both civil and criminal enforcement at the same time. Criminal enforcement is extremely important. It's a very powerful tool. We're not hesitant to use it, but we need the companies themselves to make full use of the civil powers along with government as well. It has to be an international effort. We could have all the enforcement in the world in the United States alone, and it wouldn't do you or any of us any good if this wasn't reflected in a sort of a uniform, aggressive approach across the world. And that's why the efforts of WIPO, Interpol, WCO are so important, and we're very strong supporters, and we really appreciate all that Ron and his team has done at Interpol in particular. Finally, on this question of health and safety, I think we really need to, all of us, focus on changing the terms of the debate. We've got to stop using heavy legalese. I'm a lawyer, but we speak about this problem far too often in heavy legal terms. We need to speak about it in terms that resonate with the average person in the street. We need to talk about jobs. Counterfeiters don't provide health care. They don't provide pensions. They don't pay taxes in France, taxes in the United States, taxes in the UK, taxes anywhere else in the world. It's about organized crime. This is a crime. This is a law and order issue. It's a respect for the rule of law issue. It's all about health and safety. We need to remind people this is about counterfeit aircraft parts in the engine that's turning outside their window when they're flying at 35 or 40,000 feet in a Boeing or an Airbus. It's about heart and cancer medicine. It's about airbags for cars. Counterfeit toothpaste. We do a lot of counterfeit toothpaste work in the United States, and it's in, just imagine putting something in your mouth that doesn't have the right chemical makeup. It's down to things as simple as counterfeit honey. We see a tremendous amount of adulterated and counterfeit honey. Health and safety resonates with the average person on the street. It is something that we can talk about in meaningful terms. It's something that resonates with judges. We see some of the best penalties in health and safety cases. It resonates with law enforcement. You're going to get more attention on a health and safety case. And everyone, even if you have a business or represent an industry that doesn't have an immediate health and safety angle, should support this kind of aggressive enforcement, because as I think all of you well know, in the world of intellectual property enforcement, a rising tide floats all boats, and we need to really, really push that. Let me just close by thanking everybody for the tremendous work that they're doing. Again, I know that there are times when the fight against counterfeiting and infringement can be a frustrating one, but I just look back on the tremendous change that has happened just in the past few years. It's very, very impressive. Keep the fight up. Principles on your side. We are ultimately going to win this, and win this in a way that makes sense for legitimate commerce and for our international relations. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to go to the panel discussion, and the first speaker will